An island woman who was part of a 7-year lobby effort to outlaw genetic discrimination in Canada is celebrating today. Last night, almost 80% of MPs voted to support a private member's bill that means people will not be required to disclose the results of genetic testing to employers or insurance companies. The Canada Labour Code and Canadian Human Rights Act will now be changed. Natasha McCarthy of Mount Albion PEI is one of about 150 people who are part of the Parkinson's Canada Ambassador Network, one of the groups that has been fighting to see this change. McCarthy started her work on this issue 3 years ago with the help of MP Lawrence Macaulay. I reached her for her reaction today.
It was a jump for joy kind of moment. It's been a long time coming, and Canada's the only country in the G7 that doesn't have such legislation, so it was very exciting.
And what difference do you believe this is going to make for you?
Well, for me, I have young onset Parkinson's, so it doesn't necessarily help me in the sense that I'm still technically uninsurable. However, what it does help is I have 2 girls, 5 and 8 years old, who I haven't been able to apply for life insurance or anything like that for. I mean, I could have, but the risk of them being denied based on the fact that their mother has Parkinson's was great. And once you're denied, one of the questions insurance companies tend to ask is, have you ever been denied insurance? So that could have carried with them forever. Now it's the case of we could get them a life insurance policy to get them started for when they're adults. Whereas before, the fear of them being denied because there was a perceived potential future disability because of their mother could have either increased their premiums or had them denied, whereas really the likelihood of them getting Parkinson's is probably no greater than you. So it was pretty unfair. And
will you now sign them up as soon as possible, do you figure?
I will. We've been waiting to do that for this legislation change. So, yeah.
And why do you think it took Canada so long to get here?
Oh, dear. That's a really good question because although most Canadians don't necessarily know about it, and until we started, talking about it and putting it out there, it is something that affects every Canadian, and it would be pretty unfair for you to be denied insurance or denied a promotion or a job based on that fact. So it's mind-blowing to me that it took this long and that we're so far behind all the other countries in the G7. And really the only people that have been fighting it all along are the insurance companies. And in reality, they seem to still be quite thriving, and I don't think it's affected their bottom lines too much in all of those other countries. So
I'm sure they're arguing that they're just protecting their business, correct?
Yes, of course, and they're claiming that it will increase premiums for all Canadians, but that doesn't seem to be the reality in all of these other countries.
The thing is that the Prime Minister warned MPs that were doing the voting that he believes that this is unconstitutional. So how much does that concern you?
Well, the committee that reviewed it and the lawyers that reviewed it said that it wasn't. So I don't know how to speak to that beyond that. I mean, it was well reviewed. Like I said, it's been 7 years in the making, and it didn't appear to be unconstitutional at all at any point.
Well, Justin Trudeau says that insurance falls under provincial jurisdiction, not federal jurisdictions. So, I mean, that in some senses might make the law moot.
I honestly don't know how to answer that question.
Does it concern you hearing that is a potential problem?
It doesn't, only because I know the work has been done and that there's been so many lawyers involved in it, and they wouldn't have tried to move forward if that was an issue. It's important that people realize that this law is to protect everybody in the country. There's diseases out there like cancers and whatnot that you can have genetic testing done to find out if you have risk factors for these things, and perhaps put actions in place to protect your own health that maybe you don't develop these things. And right now, people, if they were to get those genetic testing done, a lot of people have been doing that, and they don't even realize that it could in turn have had them be denied insurance, and that's not something people even know.
All good things to think about. Thanks so much for talking with us today.
Oh, my pleasure.
Natasha McCarthy is the only islander with the Parkinson's Canada Ambassador Network, one of the groups that's been lobbying Ottawa for 7 years to change the law.